Scientists at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration (NOAA) are predicting that 2024 will shatter heat records. Chief scientist at the NOAA, Dr. Sarah Kapnick, says there is a 99% chance that 2024 will rank among the 5 warmest years ever recorded.
Our Earth's average land and ocean temperatures has gone up tremendously over the years. 2023 was 2.12 degrees Fahrenheit above the 20th century average. This beats the next warmest year, set in 2016 during El Nino, by a record margin of 0.27 degrees Fahrenheit. Looking ahead, NOAA's already predicting a 1 in 3 chance that 2024 will be warmer than 2023, and a 99% chance that 2024 will rank among the planet's 5 warmest years on record.
She gave the predictions on day 1 of a 3-day workshop at the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade in Kingston. The workshops will be assessing the current capacity and challenges in improving early warning systems for heat. NOAA scientists will also be training meteorologists from the Caribbean in the use of heat wave forecasting tools, forecast interpretation, and geographic information systems for mapping heat hazard outlooks. Dr. Kapnick says governments must work together to help prepare for extreme conditions from global warming and excessive heat.
We are here to identify extreme heat hazard events, to understand how they impact human health, and what we can do to prevent such impacts. In the United States, excessive heat is currently the leading cause of weather-related deaths, and that is expected to go up. The elderly and the young are especially vulnerable. With climate change, the excessive heat events are expected to become more frequent, more extreme, and longer in duration. So you don't get a break in between the hot days in the ways that we used to in the past. This means that more people will be exposed to conditions that can lead to illness or in some cases death.
Dr. Sarah Kapnick, a chief scientist at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Deputy Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, BOJ, Robert Stennett, believes that the ongoing drought could again drive inflation upwards. Stennett says the bank will be closely monitoring agricultural prices over the coming months as it adjusts its inflation forecast.
So the effects that we are seeing in March is really reflecting whatever happened 3 months ago. As you know, the agricultural cycle, our crops will take a certain amount of time to be planted and then grown and then reap and taken to the market. So usually there's a lag between the quote-unquote good weather and what we see happening in production and prices. The drought that we're experiencing now is likely to affect prices going forward. And I will leave my analysts to assess the impact of that before we can speak more definitively about what impact that will have.
Robert Stennett, Deputy Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, BOJ. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin on Monday announced that Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate fell to 5.6% for the month of March. The reduction stems from a fall in agricultural prices. While welcoming the fall in inflation, the Bank of Jamaica says it will monitor the situation carefully. Economist Keenan Faulkner similarly says that the country may still have periods where inflation trends upwards.
Particularly because of the drought conditions now, you expect that maybe over the summer, especially at a period of the year when consumer spending tends to increase anyway, you might see prices inching back up a little bit. But the important thing is that it's maintained at a reasonable level. Even if it doesn't hit the target, I don't expect to see that double-digit inflation which immediately followed the post-pandemic period. And then, of course, there are some things that are out of our control that we still have to grapple with, like geopolitical tension. You have continued supply chain challenges and those exogenous shocks that could happen to prices.
Keenan Faulkner, economist, he was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang has lauded the late Constable Ricardo Fairclough. Constable Fairclough was killed on Monday evening in St. Anne's Bay after intervening in an attack on a 24-year-old female vendor. The incident occurred at about 8:30 p.m. on Bravo Street in the vicinity of a popular supermarket. In a statement Tuesday evening, Dr. Chang had described Constable Fairclough as an outstanding young policeman who displayed great commitment to the force. The minister is urging the JCF to do everything required to bring the gunmen involved in the policeman's killing to justice as soon as possible. One of the suspected killers of Constable Fairclough was fatally shot by the police on Tuesday afternoon. The dead man has been identified as Seraldo Butler, otherwise called Siri. Reports are that Butler was shot and killed during an operation in Steertown in the parish. Nationwide news sources say other suspects are also being sought. The National Security Minister is also urging members of the public with information about Constable Fairclough's murder to inform the police. Meanwhile, Dr. Chang says 1,500 additional closed-circuit television CCTV cameras are needed for the Jamaica Eye program to provide proper surveillance across the country. The minister says the number was calculated through research done by a team at the ministry.
The team responsible is developing also a master plan that will accurately reflect the level of coverage that is required across the various rural and urban centers. So we look forward to further cooperation. Scoping activities are underway, however, and we anticipate that some 1,500 additional cameras will be required to cover the critical points across the island. There may be more for other activities, for supplementary activities designed to give a completeness, but we figure with an additional 1,500, plus year 200, and what we have installed, we have comprehensive cover of the critical areas of entire Jamaica.
Dr. Chang was speaking at the handing over ceremony for 215 state-of-the-art CCTV cameras to the Jamaica Eye program at his office on Tuesday. The cameras, valued at $400,000, were donated to the JCF by the South Korean government. Jamaica Eye is designed to provide coverage for all major towns and highways in Jamaica. To date, more than 800 cameras have been installed. An additional 350 cameras are scheduled for installation in the downtown Kingston and Olympic Way spaces. Dr. Chang says research suggests that proper digitization can boost the efficiency of not just the JCF, but also other law enforcement entities, including the courts.
Digitization in security forces, especially police force, can increase efficiency up to 30%, just by creating the required connectivity, access to evidentiary material on a real-time basis, and more effective prosecution as quality evidence available in a shorter time. And of course, it has to work with other areas as we have pursued the same policy of digitization in the Institute of Forensic Science and Legal Medicine. We're now looking at our courts and all the areas that in fact come together to ensure public safety and good order.
Dr. Horace Chang, Minister of National Security. Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, Audley Gordon, believes that the current fines for illegal dumping are not enough to discourage the act. This comes as multiple mayors have expressed concern over the issue of illegal dumping in their respective parishes. Mahir Stewart has that story.
Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, recently revealed that 8 illegal dumps had been discovered in its town centre during a dump eradication project. The mayor of Port Maria, Fitzroy Wilson, as well as St. Anne's Bay Mayor Michael Belnavis, also expressed that illegal dumping was a major concern in their areas. Speaking with Nationwide News, Audley Gordon says the issue of illegal dumping island-wide has increased the workload for the NSWMA.
I must say that illegal dumping is very prevalent across Jamaica and in varying communities. It's not confined to low income or middle income. People find it convenient to dispose of items they don't want, just about any little open lot, any little area, private road, wherever they see convenient to do it, they do it. It's unfortunate. It's very costly for us to go around trying to clear these up. We already have the challenge with the domestic waste, which is our first duty, but we have to also pay attention to illegal dumps.
Mr. Gordon says the main perpetrators of illegal dumping range from the average citizen to businesses.
The main contributors are the regular guy, the regular people. Also, you have businesses who also don't make proper arrangement to move their garbage. They'll give it to somebody, who just are hustling with a cart, and they will dump it just about anywhere. And so you have the illegal dumps popping up all around the different town centers. We have managed to clear quite a few and beautify the areas. We have managed to catch people and charge them. We have businesses. Right now we have a prominent business that we have intercepted truckloads of garbage and we are in the process of charging them.
Mr. Gordon believes stricter fines for the crime would help the NSWMA in its policing efficacy.
We will have to expand our enforcement apparatus to make sure that we not only have the boots on the ground, but we have electronic surveillance helping us also. And we have to have the fines that will deter people. Fines now are not a deterrent, quite frankly. But we work with what we have, and we continue to push for that ideal.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
An investigation involving Interpol has led to the arrest of a St. Catherine businessman on several fraud charges. 52-year-old Elvis Jones of Helsha Avenue in Portmore has been charged with fraudulent conversion, failing to issue receipt, and a non-delivery of goods or service on contracted date. The charges stem from two incidents that occurred in March and August 2022. The police report that a man and a woman entered into separate agreements with Jones in those periods. The agreement was for him to import a 2016 Subaru motor car and a 2013 Toyota minivan from Japan. The man and woman paid Jones the agreed sums for the vehicles, which he promised would be delivered within 4 weeks, but the vehicles were never delivered. The injured parties reported the matter to the police. The investigation revealed that Jones had fled the island. Interpol subsequently issued a red notice for his capture. Jones was later held in Panama and deported to Jamaica on Saturday, April 13. He was charged on April 15 after a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. Jones is scheduled to appear in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Friday, April 19. Commanding officer for the St. Elizabeth Police, Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto, says 4 people have been arrested during ongoing operations across the parish. He says the operation, which started on Friday, is in search of wanted persons and illegal guns.
We continue our operational push across the parish and to reassure our citizens that we will continue our efforts until we arrest all the wanted persons and to rid the streets of illegal weapons. The operation on Friday morning, 2 persons were arrested, to include a 17-year-old teenager girl, and she has since been charged jointly with the male occupants that were in the house with her. The other operation on Friday, 1 man was fatally shot and another was apprehended along with an 18-year-old female.
Commander for the Area 3 Police, Assistant Commissioner Calvin Allen, was also part of Monday's ongoing operation, which led to the seizure of 76 rounds of ammunition at a residence in Potsdam District.
The operation was done, a building was searched, and the rounds were found in a bag. No one was arrested in that operation. Notably, this is the 3rd major operation over 3 days where a number of ammunition and illegal firearms were found. 3 firearms have been recovered since Friday morning, and this seizure would put well over 100 illegal rounds of ammunition since our ongoing operation on Friday.
Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto, the commanding officer for the St. Elizabeth Police. Chairman of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation and the Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, has issued a stern warning to developers against breaching the Building Act when constructing residential projects. He was speaking at the opening ceremony of the REMAX Conference and Expo at the Pegasus Hotel in New Kingston on Sunday.
I want to impress upon you all to ensure that the terms of engagement would not breach any other law. And I'm speaking in particular of the Building and Planning Act.
The issue of residential development breaches exploded in October last year, following a damning report by the Integrity Commission that outlined planning breaches of a residential complex at 11 Charlemont Drive in Kingston 6. That complex is owned by the embattled president of the National Water Commission, Mark Barnett, and his wife, attorney-at-law Annette Francis Barnett. The report revealed that the initial building permit was to build 2 3-story blocks consisting of 12 one-bedroom units, but the completed development consists of 6 two-bedroom units and 6 three-bedroom units. That's a clear breach of the permits. The allegations also triggered an audit. Mayor Swaby says a collaborative approach will be established in a move to ensure that future construction is in alignment with the approved permits.
Questions will arise from time to time, such as how is it that one bedroom were approved for this location, yet we are seeing advertisements by real estate companies indicating 2 bedrooms units being offered for sale? At the KSAMC, we know that we cannot be underground at all times, and so we want to forge a collaborative approach with industry players to ensure that what has been approved is what is constructed, and by extension is what being advertised for sale.
Andrew Swaby, chairman of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation and the mayor of Kingston. In international news now, Iran's president has warned that the tiniest invasion by Israel would bring a massive and harsh response as the region braces for potential Israeli retaliation after Iran's attack over the weekend. President Ibrahim Raisi spoke Wednesday at an annual army parade that was relocated to a barracks north of the capital, Tehran. Iranian authorities gave no explanation for its relocation, and state TV did not broadcast it live as it had been in previous years. Iran launched hundreds of missiles and drones at Israel over the weekend in response to an apparent Israeli strike on Iran's embassy compound in Syria on April 1 that killed 12 people, including 2 Iranian generals. Israel, with help from the U.S., the United Kingdom, neighboring Jordan, and other nations, successfully intercepted nearly all the missiles and drones. Tensions in the region have increased since the start of the latest Israel-Hamas war on October 7, when Hamas and Islamic Jihad, 2 militant groups backed by Iran, carried out a cross-border attack that killed 1,200 people in Israel and the kidnapping of 250 others. Israel responded with an offensive in Gaza that has caused widespread devastation and killed over 33,000 people. That's according to the local health officials.